Live? Oh yes, live. I can now. Okay. All right, let's
We're
do it.
live. So today we are going to do an introduction to Socionics, and then right at the end we'll do a mission statements about our whole master plan for hundreds of videos. So this will be in two halves, or maybe a third and then two-thirds. Elena will talk about the history of Socionics and the relationship between Carl Jung, Kipinski, and Auschwitz. And she'll briefly talk about intertype relations because this is something that Socionics has that MBTI doesn't. And then I will go into a comparison with the MBTI. I will give the example of how the ESFJ is given a lot more respect by Socionics and actually explains why they can be the closet nerd and can be intellectual. And I'll compare the 4-function MBTI model versus the 8-function Socionics model. And then I'll briefly talk about the JP problem and to why MBTI calls my type INTP and Socionics calls my type INTj. So over to Elena for the history.
Thank you, Ben, very much. So I'll start with very easy part of what is Socionics. Socionics is a theory of information processing and personality type, distinguished by the information model of the psyche and the model of interpersonal relationships. It was developed in the 70s, and I guess it was so powerful that a lot of people started following Socionics. It was discovered by Ausra Augustinavičiūtė.
And here is, I'll just talk for a moment, and these are the names if you want to Google them, folks. So when Antoni Kipinski and Ausra. That's it.
Yeah, we call her Ausra,
yep.
just to make sure it's short and sweet. Her name is kind of difficult. She was an economist, sociologist, psychologist, and the name Socionics came from the word society. She believed that each personality type has a distinct purpose in the society. Socionics can describe and explain your purpose in this life. It combines psychology and sociology, just like MBTI was inspired by Carl Jung's work on psychological types, as well as by Antoni Kipinski's theory of informational metabolism. Socionics is an improvement of Jung's personality type theory. It uses 8 psychic functions, in contrast to Jung model, which uses only 4. Your sociotype has a profound impact on your relationships. They can be platonic, romantic, or otherwise business. In fact, Socionics is a very useful predictor as to how positive or negative, successful or unsuccessful, beneficial or harmful a relationship might be. Just as there are 16 different sociotypes, there are also 16 different intertype relationships. So when I figure out your type, I don't even need to be close to you psychologically, because I already know 80% about you and how I relate to you. I can say that in this stage I know you better than you know yourself, and I also know all your strengths and weaknesses, and I know your values, as well as I can predict the relationships between you and me, the degree of the psychological compatibility of you and me. So I'll give you a couple of examples why Socionics is so powerful is because of that model of intertype relationships. People say opposites attract, right? Well, not every opposite will be your best match, and Socionics proved it scientifically. So there are 2 types of help that you might want to have or don't even want to have. So the one you will want, this kind of help, is 24/7, and then the one you will never want in any form or shape. So the first one that you don't want we'll call conflict, and it's the intertype relations considered to be the least comfortable and the least fulfilling psychologically. At first, conflicting partners may find each other very interesting, but when they become closer, they notice fundamental difference in their motives and point of view. And this is considered to be the most harmful psychological relationships that people can get. And conflict does not necessarily know why there is a conflict, and they never understand each other. The other type of relationships are called duality, and it's the intertype relations between the 2 sociotypes that fit each other ideally. Duals can interact on many levels and in a variety of ways, which creates a sense of fullness and variety in the relationships. Duals almost always bring something new and unexpected to the relationships for the other person and end up affecting them in ways they did not expect. This is because duals see certain abilities, even problems and traits in each other person, and the other person is not fully aware of it. So it's a kind of mutual support, mutual help. Okay, Ben.
Oh, my time now. Oh, right then. So, I will talk about this. And so the first bit on the agenda is just in a comparison with Socionics is you're probably aware, folks, that in MBTI, the profile of the ESFJ is a bit superficial and arguably offensive. I think Elena found it offensive, didn't you, when you read it?
Yeah, it just covers only like a surface of me. I was like, this is it? How about the other stuff?
Yeah, and so in Socionics, the ESFJ has all of the same Jungian functions valued as the INTP, the MBTI INTP. So Socionics the profile of the ESFJ shows you how the ESFJ can be an intellectual. And usually the ESFJ is an intellectual when they're on their own rather than with other people, because they're considering other people's feelings first and don't want to come across as a wise, I don't know what the polite word is for it. I'll just say wise ass. They don't come across as wise ass because they come across as nice instead. So now we'll go on to the difference in the model between Socionics and MBTI. This is the MBTI model of me. It's only a 4-function model, and it shows my dominant function is Ti, my auxiliary function as extroverted intuition, my tertiary is introverted sensing, Si, and my inferior function is extroverted feeling. As you'll probably know, so I call myself the TiNe, or TiNe. In Socionics, they call it the LII, logical, intuitive, introvert. But in MBTI, my type is called INTP, and I'm a perceiver because my top extroverted Jungian function is extroverted intuition, NE. That's my top extroverted Jungian function. In Socionics, I'm an INTj because my top function is a judging function. I'm a judger in Socionics. And a lot of people who have taken MBTI tests may think that the JP dichotomy is problematical, and they might come out, and so many INTJs might get mixed up with INTPs just based on a test. So that is the MBTI model of personality. It's only 4 of the 8 elements. So, and this is me in Socionics, and as you can see, the green ones, I'll just go in a bit closer, the green ones match the Jungian functions covered in MBTI. So as we said, for the INTP and MBTI has dominant introverted thinking, auxiliary extroverted intuition, tertiary introverted sensation, and inferior FE. So we will cover all 8 elements. Now we're not going to go into it now, but this is just to show the extra depth of Socionics. And I'll make 2 quick points. This vulnerable function shows what our weakest thing is, our weakest element is, and what we don't like in other people. and it is our source of conflict with other people. And this, the inferior function, is our suggestive function, and it shows that we really like extroverted feeling types. And so that is the source of why I get on well with the ESFJ. So that's that covered briefly. I don't know if you want to say any more, Elena.
I think we are done. We want to make it as short as possible so people don't get tired of us. And then we'll continue with topics, different topics here and there, so people can actually enjoy our videos and to keep on track ourselves.
Yeah. And the mission statement is that in future we aim to do a lot of videos.
Yeah,
over 100.
100 maybe.
We promise to keep them short.
Yes.
So
all right.
we're going to start off and keep this promise by saying bye-bye. We don't want to be too long. Bye-bye. And stop.